Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fun on Weekdays podcast. I am your host, Jenna Palick, and I'm so freaking mad. I just recorded an entire intro, and it was so good. Like, the words were just rolling off my tongue. I was probably blabbing so much, but like, it felt good. The energy was right. And I go to stop recording, and I realize I didn't record a single thing. So this is going to be my best attempt at recreating the intro. And I am recording this in advance because I'm going home to Cleveland tomorrow. I say Cleveland, but I'm not from Cleveland. I am from Painesville, Ohio. It's a small town, suburb. I guess I don't really know what you call it, but it's about 35 minutes east of Cleveland. I went to high school with like 300 people in my graduating class, so it's not that small, but we did spend our Friday and Saturday nights like in the Sheetz parking lot or getting mac and cheese bites. Like that was the highlight of our weekend, or getting the Fluffernutter shake. If you know, you know. So that kind of gives you some perspective of how small the town is. It's not that small. We have a Sheetz. Like, we're kind of progressive. I am about to be home for Thanksgiving for 6 full days, and I'm honestly really, really excited. I have seen my family more this year than I have in the past few years, which as I get older, I really value time with my parents and my sisters way more than I did when I was like in college and coming home. Because when I was in college, I would go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and all I wanted to do was hang out with all of my friends that I had missed from high school. I am really excited because all of my girlfriends are going to be home, and I'm sure we will see each other a couple times while we're there. But I don't know, as I get older, I just love sitting around the kitchen table and gossiping with my mom and my grandma and my cool Aunt Leslie and the rest of my family and my cousins and my baby cousins. Like, there are parts of me that miss Ohio, and people often ask me if I would ever move back to Ohio. I say this as I sit in the house that I just bought in Texas. Probably not. I have way too many things that tie me to Texas now. I don't think I would ever move back to Ohio, but it would be really nice eventually, like when I'm ready to start my own family, to be somewhat close to my parents. Because I obviously want my parents to be a huge part in like my kids' lives. I want their grandparents to go to their baseball games or their choir concerts, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things my grandparents went to, but I grew up with both sets of my grandparents in my hometown, and they came to everything. And as I get older and I've lost my nanny and my other sets of grandparents get a little bit older, time can be so overwhelming. And at some point you got to max out, you know? My family is the kind that we will stay at whoever's house until like midnight. We will be there all night, chit-chatting it up. The second we think we're about to leave, nope, we got another story to tell. And when I was younger, that used to frustrate me and annoy me. And now I'm like, it's just something I can kind of laugh about, because one day I'm not going to have that and I'm going to miss it. So I'm looking forward to spending time with my family. Both of my sisters are going to be in Ohio too, which is really special. And yes, both of my sisters, you guys, I have 2 older sisters. I'm the youngest. Erin is 28 and she lives in Ohio City. She is the artist and she paints custom pet portraits. Her Instagram is EL Paintings. Erin also does my newsletter for Fun on Weekdays, so if you're not subscribed, subscribe to it. She does a beautiful job. And then Sydney is our older sister. She is 30 and she lives in San Antonio. She's an occupational therapist. So we don't get to spend as much time with Sydney, even though she does live closer, because she doesn't have as much flexibility with her work schedule. So really quickly, want to say a huge, huge thank you during the holiday season, especially to all of the healthcare workers who are forfeiting time with their own families to help other people and take care of other people. I know there are a lot of people who work in healthcare that listen to this podcast, so this is just a little extra appreciation for you and people like my sister. So obviously I'm recording this in advance. I don't know exactly what I'm doing when I'm home, but Wednesday is the biggest, I think it's the biggest drinking holiday of the entire year, right? It's basically the night that every single person comes out of hibernation. They put on their best outfit. They give their best get ready with me video attempt. Like, everybody is full glam. They are ready to go. They are ready to hit the local bars and be dressed to the nines to see everybody from high school, which is so overwhelming and intimidating. Honestly, thinking about it right now, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. There's so much pressure to look your absolute best. And I don't know, especially with doing social media, I kind of block out the fact that anybody that I possibly know, that there are people that I do know in my real life that do watch my videos. I don't know how to respond. I feel like sometimes I'm kind of awkward, and I don't mean to be, but my way of dealing with awkwardness when I'm talking to someone I haven't talked to in a while is oversharing. And then after I've just spent 5 to 10 minutes talking to someone, I'll walk away and be like, oh my God, was I weird? Like, did I just share too much? Was I overwhelming them? And then that drives me kind of crazy. So I assume we'll probably be going out on Wednesday night. I'm not sure. And then Thursday, obviously Thanksgiving. I am sad, but also so happy because Aaron is not going to be really looking forward to, though. You guys, there is this local speedway in my town, and it is off the side of the road. Like, there is nothing around this speedway. It is a racetrack, and there's a couple rows of bleachers. And honestly, it is so random, but I kind of grew up going there every once in a while with my dad. They would do these demolition derbies and different like races and stuff. And my dad always loved NASCAR. So, woo, go Jeff Gordon. He was our fave. I don't really know why, but he just was. And a couple years ago, my dad said, I want to race on that racetrack. And every year they do this turkey leg. That's what it's called. The turkey leg race. And anybody can enter the race. You don't have to be a legitimate race car driver. So my dad entered it. He found a beat up car, I think on like Facebook Marketplace or maybe from one of his friends that owns a car shop. I don't really remember the details, but he turned this car into a race car and he painted all over it stripes and numbers, and he got all of his friends' local businesses decals, put it all over the car. My dad looked like a legit racer, and he was 52 when he did it the first time. So his number on his car was, of course, 52. Well, that was a couple of years ago, I think right before COVID. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to that race. I don't really remember why, but he finished in the top 5. I do know that. And basically the entire stands were people that were there to cheer him on. Like, something about my dad is he is the life of the party. Like, he walks in the room and he does know every single person, and he will make his way around, and he just loves to make people laugh and smile and bring people together. So it's no surprise that everybody showed up to support him. And this year he's doing it again. This time he's going for gold. If you win first place, I think you win like $2,000, which is honestly a really nice jackpot, especially right before the holidays. I would not complain about $2,000. So he took my grandpa's old car. It's an Oldsmobile. That's literally what it's called. It looks exactly like what you probably think it looks like. And so my dad decked it out. He, again, put all these racing stripes and numbers on it. And we are going to the race on Saturday. The race at the local speedway in Painesville. And I'm going to have my girlfriends from high school sleep over on Friday night and then wake up in the morning, get ready together, make breakfast, drink lots of mimosas. And we're probably going to day drink at the local speedway track. And if that is not the epitome of small town, I don't really know what is. Sunday, I don't know what I'm doing. Monday, I come back to Austin. And then Tuesday, that is when today's episode comes out. So I promise I'll try to make this intro short. There's only 2 other things to share with you. The first one being my I Can Definitely Do That of the week. So I started this last week. I Can Definitely Do That is a little series where I'm going to do weekly where I share a thought that I've had or an idea or a business proposal that I've had where I think to myself, I can definitely do that, because like, why couldn't I? So I already know when I go home, I am going to have the thought that I should open up an ice cream coffee shop, because there's this place by my house. It's called 1899 or 1989, something like that. It's this coffee place. They have the best food, the best coffee, best caramel macchiato I've ever had in my life. Every time I'm home, I absolutely have to go. And then right next door is this ice cream shop that used to be called Carlone's. It's not called Carlone's anymore because they unfortunately sold it. But every time I go home, I'm like, I could definitely open up some type of hospitality business in my hometown. Like, that would be so fun. A little restaurant, a little cafe. They need more of that in Ohio. They also need gyms that have group fitness classes, because when I lived in Ohio, in Painesville, the only place I was working out was like Planet Fitness, We did not have bar, Pilates, yoga, cycling classes. Like that's just not really a thing. So when I moved to Austin, group fitness classes became like a really big passion of mine. Now I teach bar. It's something that I like love to do. I have a whole episode about getting my teaching certificate and all of that. If you're interested, it's something that I'm really proud of that I did in this past year. So if it's not a coffee shop type of place, I would definitely open up a Pilates studio. Like, because I can definitely do that. Anyways, the other thing that I have to share with you is that starting on December 1st, what it sounds like, it's just 25 days of fun activities, ideas of things that you can do leading up to the holidays on a weekday, especially during daylight savings, because I'm recording this at 5 p.m. and it is pitch black outside. You would think that I'm in Hollister right now. We also have a bunch of discounts, giveaways. The giveaways, I just have to say, like, I'm going to toot my own horn for a second because the giveaways are insane. A few of them are personally from me, things that I really, really wanted to do. The only one that I have shared so far is this huge makeup giveaway. It is every single makeup product that I absolutely love and adore, and it's a huge giveaway for that. The other giveaways are just as great, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. So starting on December 1st, we will start sharing what the giveaways are. That'll be on my personal Instagram, Jenna Palick, and our Fun on Weekdays Instagram. And then sign up for our newsletter too, because every single day of it, we will be posting what the giveaway or discount is or what we're highlighting so that you can keep it all in somewhere too within your emails if you are an email girly. So that's it. Those are all of my updates. We're going to get into today's episode, which is with Kalani Hilliker. The girl needs no introduction. Kalani was on Dance Moms, 10 years ago? It's kind of crazy. Time has flown. She is an icon. She just started her own self-care brand. It's called Kare by Kalani. So we talk a little bit about that, but she also opens up about her dating life. So I had a really fun time chit-chatting with Kalani, getting to know her a little bit better, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Let's get into it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited to have you on the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. This will be fun.
I am friends with Brooke Highland. She used to live in Austin. So during that time, we became friends, and she unfortunately just moved away. But I saw that you guys were together recently.
Yeah, we were just together 2 days ago.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to the first thing that we obviously have to talk about. Dance Moms, y'all kind of just broke the internet last weekend. Yeah. So all of you girls got together to film. Can you share any insight about what y'all were filming?
Yeah. So we filmed a 2-hour reunion special. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but it's whatever. I think it's fine. But, some of us decided that we wanted to come back and film this. And I think it was really awesome just because even Brooke and Paige and I weren't really on the show together. Mm-hmm. So all coming together and doing this and talking about so many things that happened in the past and also just seeing what we're all doing now was super fun. I think everybody's going to be really interested. We're talking, a lot of topics that the fans have wanted to hear about, and we haven't really been able to speak on it other than just a short TikTok or something. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to all sit down and hear everybody's different opinions and just kind of chat it up. So it's definitely interesting. I'm interested how it's going to air and play out, but we definitely had a lot of fun. It was fun all coming together and just hanging out.
Yeah, I imagine after however many years after filming, you'll probably have such a different perspective too, now that you're literal adults and you're no longer children. So when you're talking about some of these topics you haven't been able to talk about for the past couple of years, is it because y'all had a contract and you weren't allowed to talk about it, or you just haven't all been together in a space where it's felt natural to bring things up?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in our contracts that state we can't really talk about anything. It's our experience. Yeah. And we were children at the time. So it's a very messy situation because I don't really even know what was happening. I was a child. I seriously couldn't tell you what was going on. It was also our parents' first time on TV, and just no one knew what the fuck was happening. Seriously. So coming back now, we just had a controlled setting, and it's a reunion. So we were able to all sit down and we had different conversations we were supposed to talk about. So It was good. It was really good. It was really emotional. There was a
Yeah.
lot of emotional moments and watching back some things that maybe none of us have ever even seen before. Because a lot of us don't really even watch the show, obviously, because we were on it. JoJo loves to watch it though. She's obsessed with the show. But I mean, there were so many clips that I didn't even remember. I mean, you have to think about it. It's my childhood. How much of your childhood do you remember? You know? So I don't know. It was really, really weird, but it was really fun. And it was cool to be back on set. It was like weird being an adult
Yeah.
filming Dance Moms, you know?
Yeah. How was that being back on set? And I know that y'all were all posting on social media. Everybody was
Mhm.
following it, like refreshing to see what y'all were doing. Because I think a lot of people have been waiting for this moment. And a
Yeah.
lot of people now, like we still talk about Dance Moms. I still see it all over my TikTok. And I'm sure it probably feels inescapable for you. But watching it back, seeing things that like you haven't quite processed yet has probably been like almost a bit of a shell shock? Like, does it feel like you lived a different reality almost?
It was weird to watch it back through my adult eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I could see myself, which we talk a lot about on the reunion, but I could see myself really having no emotion and not feeling anything and not really understanding either the severity of a situation or what was actually happening, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So watching it as an adult and seeing myself was like it was a big therapy call. I mean, sorry, I just read a text that came through, but a therapy conversation between all of us. And I'm happy that we did it. I'm so happy we did it. I think it was good clarity for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it made us all closer.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask if it gave you any type of like closure or helped you kind of understand things from everyone's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I've been having so much anxiety about filming it
Yeah.
just because I didn't really know what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And also, when I think of Dance Moms, I think of drama and fighting and all this craziness that I truly don't want to go back to, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to revisit the screaming and yelling. So I think, a little bit afraid that that was going to happen, especially once I found out that they wanted our moms to be there. Because at first, our moms weren't going to be there. At first, it was just going to be the girls. But then, honestly, having our moms there was amazing and it was so much fun. And it wasn't screaming and yelling. It
Mm-hmm.
was just all of us stating our opinions and, figuring out just kind of what happened at the time. And I mean, none of us really care too much now, right? Like we're adults and whatever happened in the past happened. Like I was 11. But it was good to get some clarity on everything and just kind of go back and just revisit. There were so many amazing moments too. I think we forget to mention that there was so many good times, even with Abby.
Mm-hmm.
All the girls and moms, we had amazing times, especially times that weren't filmed on TV. I mean, you got to think about it. We filmed 60 hours a week.
Yeah, that's
Only 40,
insane.
yeah, only 45 minutes go on TV.
That's like, at the time, did you ever think like, oh my gosh, this is basically like child labor and it's like a really, really unhealthy environment? I mean, 60 hours is
No,
so much.
no. See, though, because it was just my life.
You
That was
didn't
my
think anything
childhood.
else. That's
No,
crazy.
I didn't think of anything else. I mean, I was going to dance. I was with my friends every day. And for the most part, I was having fun, you
Yeah.
know? Like most people do what we did. Ours was just filmed on TV.
hmm
Not saying that it was very different and it was traumatic in some senses and everybody has their own stories. But I mean, we went to school and we went to dance.
hmm
But it was obviously filmed and there was crazy situations. But it just felt like my childhood and my life. It didn't feel like child labor or anything just because that's what I was used to. I didn't know anything else.
Yeah, it's crazy that some people have like home videos and you just have an entire reality TV show that you can go
Yeah, that's
back and
my home
watch.
videos.
That's crazy.
I was just talking to my friend the other day about that because I forget, we were just like sitting and watching TikToks, and obviously every time I scroll on TikTok, and same with her, Dance Moms clips come up,
Mhm.
and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was your voice because it doesn't sound like you." Because I was so young, and she
Mhm.
was like, "That was so weird because I don't know what I sounded like as a kid because I don't really have videos all over the place of me talking as a kid."
Yeah,
So funny.
I haven't watched back any of my home videos in quite a bit of time, but anytime that I do, I'm like, I just don't remember that. I have very selective memory, and it seems like the older I get, the less I remember. So it is like, honestly, probably pretty cool that you do have a whole archive that you can eventually like show to your kids one day, and you can
Yeah.
go back and reference it too. So after now being on set again for the first time in a while, does it kind of like interest you again to get back into being on TV or doing more interviews and doing more with media? Because I did listen to your podcast with Sophia,
Mhm.
Sophia with an F, and you talk about how you don't really go to that many events and you don't do that many interviews or podcasts or anything too much, but has it kind of encouraged you to get back into it a little more?
Yeah, I think once COVID hit is kind of when my anxiety peaked and just I was going through my roughest patch I've ever gone through quite yet by myself. And I was living in LA at the time, and then I ended up moving back home to Scottsdale where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I moved here to get out of LA. I seriously didn't go back to LA for 2 years because I was so traumatized. I wouldn't even necessarily say about the show and all these things, but that's when I first was experiencing my panic attacks and so much. So I had all these connections in LA that were just kind of negative in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never knew if I truly wanted to get back into anything just because I don't want to have a panic attack. I don't want to feel anxious. Like those are the worst feelings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to go back to that. But recently, I have been, I hate the word force, but forcing myself
Yeah.
back into these situations because I know it's like what I love to do and I enjoy it, but I think I just couldn't see the right side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So being on set this past week, I love being in the cameras and being with my friends and I don't know, just doing all of that was super fun. Also, a lot of the crew that was there was our crew from the show.
Yeah.
So like our sound guys, our camera guys, our producers, I've known them since I was 10. So it was really cool that everybody was there and I think it made it feel more like a safe space too,
Mm-hmm.
just because they've seen us go through everything, you know? So it was a safe space all around and it was a lot of fun. So my brain has been spinning since the show because I'm like, what am I going to do next? I
Yeah.
want to do this. I want to do this. So I do think hopefully I can get a reality show of some sort going in the future, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see how the reunion plays out too. You never know, right?
Yeah. Hopefully. Do you know when that will be coming out?
I don't want to say a day because it changes so much.
Yeah.
But in 2024.
Okay.
So, but it definitely, I'm gonna say earlier. It's not gonna be like a year from now.
Okay.
But
Oh my gosh. People are so excited. I can't wait to watch it too. Black Friday and Cyber Monday may be over, but the holiday deals are not because our friends at American Eagle have given us an additional 20% off your entire purchase starting November 29th until December 4th, online only. American Eagle is your go-to place for all of your holiday shopping this season, whether it's for a friend, sister, your boyfriend, maybe even for you. You can find denim, sweaters, dresses, accessories, loungewear, matching sets, scarves, hats, literally anything and everything is at American Eagle, and it makes the perfect gift. So take advantage of the additional 20% off using the code AE Fun on Weekdays 2. So that's AE Fun on Weekdays 2, no spaces. I'll put the code in the episode description and make sure you use it by December 4th. So you spent the whole weekend with the girls. What has it been like reconnecting with them now that you are adults and time has passed and you've been able to reflect on the show and you've all kind of become your own people? I know you talk about like finding your voice and finding your personality. How has that impacted your friendships with the girls, not only on the show, but then also like outside of reality TV too?
yeah, I think for a lot of us, we all live in different places now, right? We
Mm-hmm.
all have different lives. It's like when you are in high school and then everybody goes to a different college and you might not talk every day. You might not see each other every day because that's part of growing up and it's part of life. So I think we've all kept in contact of some sort, but it's been a while since we spent this many days together like we used to.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. Like just to catch up and see us as adults. Like we all have boyfriends, girlfriends, like talking about those things, talking about school, talking about where people want to move to, and just like our bigger pictures of life now. Our lives were only dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we used to like talk about. Obviously we had fun and other things, but that was our main thing in common. And now like we all went out to the bar, we like went and like got drunk together.
That is so crazy.
So
picturing y'all all being like of legal age to go to the bar. I actually was so curious. So obviously y'all are all dancers. How does that impact like how you dance at the club, at the bar? You live in Scottsdale?
I live in Scottsdale. It's crazy out here. I dance horrible at the club.
What?
Everybody always is like, no, people will come up to me and be like, show me a dance move. I'm like,
yeah,
what? So awkward. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm not like a good club dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good dancer.
Yeah.
But
once I get a couple drinks in.
It was a lot of fun, all of us together. And then I never thought I would say this. I was deathly hungover the next day.
Really?
Because we were doing interviews. So it was like a day of interviews. And I was like, I never thought I would see the day that I would say I'm filming Dance Moms hungover.
Well, you're 23 now?
I just turned 23.
23. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like right after college, around 23 was when I started getting hangovers, and it was really from like wine and the sugary drinks. So what's your like go-to when you go out?
I'm a vodka soda girly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's weird. I feel like you shouldn't get hangovers then.
No, I do. I've always gotten a hangover there. And I don't know what it was. We went to like the gay bars. We went to the Abbey.
Okay.
And their drinks are strong.
Where did you?
We went to the Abbey, and it was so much fun. But I was so hungover. Mid-interview, I threw up.
No.
Yeah, I was so unwell. I was like, Chloe, Brooke, Paige, I will never go out with you guys again because I was dying. I don't get hungover like that either. Like I usually can like live my life, but it was bad.
What do you do when you're hungover? Like, what's your go-to? Do you just eat something specific? Rotten bed, yeah. I have to send you Waterboy. My boyfriend actually, not that this is like a plug for him or anything, but he actually has a hangover recovery business. And
I know what that is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to send you some. I was just out for dinner a couple nights ago, and I had like 3 glasses of wine at dinner. And the next morning I woke up on Friday and I was like, oh, holy shit. I haven't felt that like heart beating out of your chest feeling in a while. Yeah, it's the worst. So we'll have to send you some so you never get a hangover.
I get anxiety so bad.
Yes, the anxiety.
Not like a anxiety worried about what I did the night before because I don't really care. I'm pretty like whatever I did. It was funny. Whatever.
Has there been a time where you've woken up and you've looked at your phone and been like, really embarrassed or ashamed of something you've texted someone?
Oh, just recently. I went out with this guy. It was like Halloween weekend. He's so hot.
Okay, so he's like, an interest.
Not anymore. I
ruined it. No. You might think that though, but you might not have scared him away. Like he might have just liked that.
No, I don't think so. But this is the only time I've ever been like, guys, I might have fucked up. Like I might have done, but I didn't do anything bad. I'm just weird. But I was really drunk. I'm just kind of still getting over my ex-boyfriend. But I decided that I need to start, going out.
Yeah.
Trying to
get yourself out there.
Yeah, I gotta put myself out there. So he was like, come meet us at Toka. So me and my friends went to Toka. And then I like hung out with him for the rest of the night, just us two. The next night I went out because it was Halloween weekend. So I went out again the next night.
Oh yeah. Halloween weekend was a bender this year. With it being on Tuesday, I feel like people were going out for 2 weekends straight.
I don't know what it was. I usually never go this hard on Halloween, but I went hard this year. I think everybody was going hard this year too. Like every time I looked at TikTok, everybody's costumes were amazing. It was like a good Halloween. Anyways, though, I like texted and called him, and I kind of felt embarrassed about that because he didn't answer.
Oh, that's okay. Did he text or call you the next day?
No, that's the thing.
No, he did not ghost you. Well,
so then I was like, am I ghosted? But then I don't know. So then a couple of days later, when I was filming on set, because I was like, I probably look cool right now, like I'm filming on set, I was like, I'm gonna call him. So I called him while I was on set, and he answered then.
Is this a FaceTime or a phone call?
FaceTime.
Okay, you're like, yeah, because he had to physically see that, like, you're on set, you're getting your hair and makeup done.
Yeah. And we were like talking, and Kendall was sitting next to me, and she was like talking to him. And so I was like, okay, I'm good. He doesn't not like me because he answered the phone, right?
Right.
I think.
I think so.
I was like, I'll text you when I get back in town because I'm out of town anyways. He was like, perfect, text me when you get back.
Is he in Scottsdale?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
So I texted him a couple days ago, and I got ghosted.
Oh my God. Okay, I feel like, I don't know, he might not be worth it. I'm thinking we got to like kick him to the curb.
It's over now.
But speaking about your ex, in your episode with Sophia, you did talk about like how you all broke up, but it was relatively like very mature. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the worst kind of breakup, is a mutual breakup where you still have a lot of love and no one did anything to hurt each other. It's actually
so hard.
Yeah. So how have you been dealing with the breakup?
Well, it's not really going well because I'm trying to meet other people and it's not working. But sometimes I wish like somebody cheated and something happened, because then it's easier to just be done, because it's like, okay, you fucked me over, so now I'm done.
Yeah.
So it's been harder, just because he really is there for me. If I ever need him, he's right there. And I respect it. And it's been hard, I feel like, just because we are so close and nothing really bad happened, that it's way harder to go through the breakup. But it also has helped me focus on myself a lot more.
That's good.
I used to I've always lived alone, but I used to not even be okay with being by myself. I would always be afraid to be by myself and like kind of latch on to either my friends or him or whatever it might have been. And I feel like our breakup really made me have to be by myself. And so now I'm really good about being by myself, and I'm like not afraid to go to sleep alone at night. So I feel like it's helped me a lot in that sense. And we're still friends, and honestly, we still talk. And you never know. I know, which is, I'm like,
that's like the number one rule of breakups is like, don't keep chit chatting, because then you just like never let it go. But
that's kind of how it's been.
Are you kind of thinking like, okay, interested in the opportunity, or is it more so like, okay, our time has passed as a romantic relationship?
I could tell you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, what's he up to? How's he handling the breakup?
He's good. I mean, we talk occasionally, like I said, but what's great about him, as far as I know, he's just very much so focused on himself and his job and his life. And that was part of our breakup, right? Was that's what he needed to do. So he's doing that. And obviously on my end, we didn't break up because I didn't want a relationship or I felt that way. Yeah. So that's kind of why I've been in a place where I want to try to meet other people and do other things, because I wasn't the one that didn't want, and it's not that he didn't want a relationship, but he just needed to focus on himself.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's doing from what I know. And I'm focusing on myself, but I'm just trying to put myself out there. I'm 23 and I'm just
thriving, beautiful, stylish. You're so bubbly. Like, you will have no problem finding the right person for you, whether that is
it's
him
not really
or not.
going well so far.
Hey, they always say like when you're looking, you don't find anyone, but also, okay, I am curious, where are you looking? Are you on dating apps? Are you meeting people out at the clubs? Like, where are you finding these potential guys?
Oh, me and my friends, I'm like, should I tell the funny story that just happened to me recently?
Yes.
I've been having horrible luck with boys.
Really? Luck. I can't imagine that though. Like, truly, I cannot imagine that.
I don't know why, just horrible luck. But this is a funny story. So me and my friend were at the Diamondbacks game.
Okay. Diamondbacks. I'm like, oh gosh.
We just went to the World Series.
Oh, baseball.
We lost, though.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball. But we just lost.
I should know this because Texas Rangers just won, right?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Screw you guys.
I know. Hey, I'm in Austin, so I don't really have a loyalty. My loyalty is with the Cleveland what are they called these days? They're no longer the Indians, the Cleveland Guardians. Yes.
Okay. I'm honestly not a huge baseball girl. I
No,
don't know much.
you're
I'm a
from
basketball girl.
you're from Pittsburgh though, right?
No, I'm from Scottsdale.
Oh, you're from Scottsdale. Okay, so
Yeah.
I was just thinking you were originally from Pittsburgh just because of the show,
Most
because they
are.
were based
Yeah.
there. Okay. Okay,
Most
so
are. But I
anyways,
came on later, so
gotcha.
I wasn't. Yeah. So I'm from here. Anyways, though, I went to the baseball game, and my friend next to me was like, "Oh my gosh, that guy is really hot." And so he was in a jersey. So there was two guys next to
It's
each
always
other.
the jerseys, isn't it?
I know, literally. And then it was like her guy was Johnson, and then my guy was like Harry Jowsey Duke, which he
Okay.
looked nothing like Harry Jowsey actually when it came to it, which is really funny.
Okay, if Harry Jowsey, him actually made a move, would you be interested in Harry Jowsey? Like, is he your type?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, no, it's so weird. My friends say this all the time. I have no type.
Okay.
I can go all over the place.
Are you more of a personality gal?
Then I guess yes. If I
Okay.
have no type, then I would have to go and say personality. Like you can suck me in if you have a good personality.
Yeah, that's true. I
And I
mean,
can look past looks.
everybody's gonna eventually be bald and gray and old at some
One day I'm
point.
not gonna look good.
Yeah,
So
until I get a facelift and then I'll look great again. But no.
exactly. I'm like, exactly. That's exactly what I'm gonna do too.
So he's a
but
Harry Jowsey dupe. Sorry.
yeah. And then the Cameron jersey. Or Johnson jersey. My bad. I can't even Johnson jersey. So at the end of the game, she was like, I really wish we could have talked to them. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go talk to them. So they're like down at the bottom. We had to like walk down and we just won the game. So it was like crazy in there. I go down there and I was like, hey, are you guys single? There might have been a little bit of liquid courage in that conversation. But they were like, yeah, we actually are. And we walked out of the game together. And then we went bowling right after. Like, and we like hung out for the rest of the night. And then it didn't end up working for either one of us.
Wait, why? Okay, so I feel like there's this thing where you see somebody from afar and the idea of them is just so much better than when you actually get to know them and talk to them and you're kind of like, oh, never mind. Was it like that or?
Okay, no, I got ghosted again.
What?
Yes.
No.
I've had a rough October.
Okay, well, let's just chalk it up to it being October and it being like Halloween, ghosts are in the air.
I mean, I wasn't too upset about it because I wasn't really that interested in him. It was more my friend was interested in the guy, her guy,
Okay.
and I was just trying to like help out.
Yeah.
But then like we actually like got along, so I was like cool with it. But then like whenever I got ghosted, well, I didn't get completely ghosted, but whenever it didn't work out, I wasn't like butthurt by it. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it's more of an ego blow than anything. You're like, really? You're going to ghost me? I was going to ghost you.
I feel like I've just been, my ego's just been going down and down and down because all these men don't want me. I'm like, there has to be something wrong with me.
No, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yet.
It's your time to ghost someone else. What was like the last time that someone was interested in you that you were like, no, and you just like let it go? Have you ever ghosted someone?
Like when I was in LA.
When it's convenient, when I'm in town.
I don't know. Like I said, it's not that deep to me. I don't really get that upset because there will be somebody else out there. And maybe it's just my ex. And all these things keep happening because it's just my ex. Who knows?
It's all leading you back to him. So you did mention that like you are relatively ready to like settle down and start having kids soon. You mentioned your like timeline when you were talking with Sophia. So, well, for anyone who's listening to this, go listen to that episode. We won't rehash on it, but I was curious. So when you are eventually ready to like have a family, how does like dance moms and your experience being a child star influence how you would raise your kids? Like, would you be open to them being on a TV show? Would you be open to posting them on social media? Or do you want to kind of like protect them from that?
It's really interesting that you asked this because I think about this a lot in a sense. I do want to give my kids the opportunity to choose whatever they want to do. You know, they don't have to, like if I have my kids want to dance, they can dance. If they don't want to dance, they don't have to dance. I think that I obviously did get a lot of success from this. So I could see why my kids might want to follow in my footstep and be a part of it, but I will never push them to do anything. I think that I will show my kids um up until they decide if they want to or not. I don't know. I don't know what the right decision is, and I think that has a lot to do with my partner too.
Yeah, that's so true.
If they don't want our kids on social media, then that's like something we're gonna have to talk about. Just because that is part of my life. And I think that sometimes it's inevitable that it is gonna happen. Especially like, let's say I'm filming a TV show by then. It's like, how, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where there's no right or wrong answer. They're your kids. You can do whatever you want with your kids. So I don't know. That's something I'll have to think about.
Yeah, I feel like whoever you end up with has to know that about you and accept it fully before they like commit to a life with you, because they have to know what they're getting themselves into. And if they try to change that, like
I talked about that on Sophia's episode too. I was like, you know what you're getting into when you're dating me. I'm someone with almost 8 million followers.
Okay. How about, girl? You're like, yeah, you heard it with an M.
But, you know, like with that, if you're dating me, that comes part of, you know, you chose that to date someone like this. And I always will respect people's boundaries, of course. And I don't mention people's names and things like that unless they care to be mentioned or whatever. But that's what it comes when you date me, marry me, hang out with me. Yeah. Like, it's like, it's hard sometimes to find if people are genuine, not genuine for those things.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But
because you mentioned it's something that comes with you, not only in a relationship, but also in your friendships. And I don't know, did you have a hard time making friends in LA? Because that is a lot of the culture there is trying to get into film or trying to be an influencer or trying to be on a TV show. Did you find it difficult to make friends there, or did you already have a network of people that lived out there who were already included in projects that it was like, you know, you had a good community there? Because I know you mentioned it was a hard time for you. So I'm curious how the people that were there were.
I grew up in Arizona, right? My whole life. My whole family is from here. I'm used to having family around me all the time. Then I chose to move to LA, where I have all these friends, but your friends aren't your family in the same sense, you know. I had a lot of people that I was really close with, but I wouldn't put them, some of them I would now, but at the time I wouldn't have put them on the level of like my family. So I did feel like I was going through a lot alone, and I really did get into the LA lifestyle. I would go to the parties, go to the clubs, and although that's fun and all, you know, it still happens. If I go to LA and I go to a club, there's always going to be somebody that comes up and is like, "Oh my God, let's be friends. Follow me on Instagram." Yeah, that's how LA is. That's how it goes. And I think at the time I couldn't really read through the bullshit as much. So I think that could be part of the reason why I just got really anxious and had a hard time with being in LA, and just like dating in LA was really hard. I feel like all the guys that I was talking to weren't really, I don't want to say clout chasing, but like weren't super close to me and wanted like a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So I did feel pretty alone when I was in LA. And I think that's ultimately why I moved back to Arizona. All of my friends that I'm friends with today, I would say 85% of them I've known since high school. Those are my best friends. And none of them do what I do. None of my best friends do what I do. You know, they're all like cute and post on Instagram and like do TikToks, but it's not their job. So it's nice though, because I know that these relationships are genuine and they're not coming from a place where I can help you. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, I definitely get that. And it's good that the people that you've surrounded yourself with seem to really ground you. So now being back in Arizona, do you plan to stay there for a while, or are you wanting to like move somewhere eventually? I know family is very important.
I was literally just talking to Jess, because I was with Jess and JoJo. I did JoJo's podcast, and like they have like a girl group, and I did their podcast too.
Love that.
I was in the car with her, and I was like, this sometimes makes me miss LA in a sense. I think that it's changed a lot since COVID. And I just think I moved there at the worst time you possibly could have moved to LA by yourself. I was literally there for maybe 4 or 5 months before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even really get the full experience, you know? So I don't know if I would go back there, but it did make me think about it. I also love Dallas. I think Dallas is awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah, come, you'll be closer to us.
Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad actually lived in Houston like my whole life.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time in Texas. But then it's hard. I have a 2-year-old sister, 8-year-old brother, 16-year-old brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I live 20 minutes from them. So being able to see them and hang out with them is also great. I don't know. It's hard. I think it all depends kind of what my life's like in the next couple years. I could see myself moving, but I don't know.
Yeah, but who knows? You might meet someone. What is the dating? Yeah, what's the dating scene like in Arizona? I feel like what I know about Scottsdale is I went there in college for a work conference and we all went out one night and all I'm picturing are the girls in like in the thong like jumpsuits with their giant asses. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, they look so good. And they're like up on the on the bar. Yeah. And there were a lot of bachelor groups there, but I don't know if I actually met.
So many bachelorette parties.
Yeah. It's similar to Austin too, but I feel like there is way more party. Is it difficult to meet guys who are like not super big party guys and more into serious relationships and looking for someone?
Yeah. I mean, it's just getting crazier and crazier here. Like we have a Catch coming here.
Oh my gosh.
Caesar's Palace Hotel. Like there's so many things coming here. So Scottsdale's just growing and growing. The dating scene here, I mean, I've never really dated a guy that's from here. My ex is from LA and we met because our best friends are married.
Okay.
So we were both in the wedding and that's how we know each other. So that's like a different kind of scenario. I feel like a lot of athletes are here off season. So I feel like that's kind of the dating scene.
Okay, wait, I could love that for you. Everybody's switching over to the athletes. I mean,
okay, well, I love a good athlete, so don't get me wrong. But I get ghosted by these athletes. Sometimes it doesn't really work. I don't know. I love a good athlete. I love them because they have a work ethic. They most of the time have to have their shit together because if you don't have your shit together, then you don't get to play or you don't, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I like athletes with work ethic. I don't know. There's lots of off-season athletes here. And then just a lot of young guys. I feel like it is hard to find someone that wants to settle down. Or it's older guys dating younger girls. That's
Are you opposed to that? Is that like an absolute hard no? Like what's your age range we're looking at here?
Like I can go up to like 34. 33.
I'm like trying to do the math right now. So
I'm 23.
Okay, so 10 years.
Yeah, well, just guys are more mature when they're older.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're looking to settle down, then yeah, you kind of got to go a little bit older, I feel like.
I don't know. I've met some guys that are like in their mid-30s and they are not any more mature.
I mean, I can't date that old. My mom's 42. So
oh my gosh.
That's weird.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have a very young mom, so then she would almost be like closer to. Oh my God, he'd almost be closer to your mom's age than you. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so that's why I personally wouldn't. But some of my friends be dating older, and I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes they're fine, like they're hot. Like
okay, so we're not saying no just yet, but
I mean, not me.
Okay.
Not too old. I can't go too old.
We'll find your guy.
I would prefer 26. This is 27.
Yeah, that is a good age.
That's a good age.
That is a good age. Well, I'm sure you'll find him. Well,
yeah. Can we is this like a dating show now? So who wants to date me?
I think you'll be really disappointed to know that my demographics I think are like 99% women, and the 1% are my dad and gay men.
What's perfect is all of these girls can now send me some men.
You know, that is actually so much better than all of the guys coming directly to you because I trust a woman's like advice or reference far more. I actually, like, a couple years ago when I first started the podcast, my sister was single and I had posted in my Facebook group and I was like, okay, we should start this thing where it's like fun on week dates. And so
that's a good one.
all of the girls like in our Facebook group were going to set her up with their brothers or their cousin or their best friend. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I actually think that might be genius.
It's kind of genius.
Because all of like the really good guys are probably not, I don't know, they might be reaching out.
I really don't know. I'm on dating apps.
Okay, which ones?
Am I going to get kicked off if I say Raya?
No. Why would you get kicked off? Oh, are you not allowed to say that you're on Raya? Is it like Soho House that you're not allowed to say that you're a part of it?
Like, I guess.
I tried to join Raya like years and years ago, and I was on the wait list. I think the wait list is a bunch of bullshit. I don't know who's in charge of that.
Yeah, who's in charge of the wait list? I have so many friends that I have tried to get on, and if it's by status as it's like supposed to be, I have a friend with like 500K that won't get on, but my friend with like 5,000 followers got on. So it's like if it's about status, then
their algorithm is
there's something.
It's either the algorithm or whoever is behind the curtains.
But I meet I've met a lot of great guys off of Raya that I've hung out with, dated, just ended up being friends with at the end of the day. So I low-key have met a lot of people. It's a lot of athletes.
Okay.
But
what's your go-to
the one that I got
sport?
ghosted off of, that guy that ghosted me.
Oh.
Really hot one that I'm really sad about.
Maybe he'll listen to this. Someone's probably going to send it to him and then he's going to be like, oh shit, I'm stupid. And then he's going to get
I doubt it.
He'll get his life together.
It's okay though. We matched on Raya in like 2019.
Oh, wait, Raya's been around that long?
Really long. Before I was 18. Because I remember being like, when I turn 18, I'm going to get on Raya.
What a goal.
And then he kept reaching out to me on Riot. I never answered until this year. This was like we matched when I was 19. And then he's been reaching out every year, but I just never answered. I don't know why. And then I answered this time, and then now I'm ghosted.
Yeah, that's a silly little game that I don't think is worth playing.
No, I agree.
Being sketch.
It's fine. I'm also on Hinge. I just got Hinge.
Okay, I just did a podcast with Hannah Brown. Do you know Hannah Brown from The Bachelorette? Yeah. So she met her now fiance on Hinge.
Maybe I have some hope then.
Yeah.
I literally just got Hinge maybe 3 weeks ago.
I like Hinge. I think people are funny on Hinge.
I like it better than Raya by far.
Yeah.
Now I'm really going to get kicked off Raya.
They're like listening to you right now. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine they banned you? My boyfriend got banned from Hinge actually. Like years ago. This was before we were together. But he got banned because they didn't think he was a legitimate profile. People were like reporting him. Mm-hmm. So watch out for that though, in case you get taken down. They have a little
verification thing now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, so you're good.
You're a verified person.
What's your favorite like brief on Hinge? What is your profile like? Are you funny? Are you cutesy?
Mine's funny. Mine says my biggest irrational fear. I put Abby Lee Miller.
Do you think the guys are going to know what that means?
Some of them do.
Okay. They must have a sister.
Yeah. You'd be shocked. It's funny. And then I have like a really ugly photo of me on there. I kind of got it more as a joke. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, I'm just going to do it. Why not? And it's actually been like funny, good time. So why not?
Yeah, it was a good pastime. Like whenever I'm with my single friends, I'll like help them out. I always look at their profile, always change the photos.
It's so fun. I'm like, ooh, actually this photo. The prompts are funny. There's been a couple of funny ones, and then a couple of guys where I'm like, you're disgusting.
Yeah, what would you see on a profile that you'd be like, absolutely not? What is the biggest red flag in a Hinge profile? I saw one that was
like, has to be open to threesomes.
What?
Don't put that on your dating profile. I mean, I guess you could.
I feel like that's more for Tinder though, no? That would make more sense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's honest. I can't.
Are you on Tinder?
No, should I?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Tinder over the years, ever since like Bumble and Hinge have come about, Tinder is now more branded for like hookups. So I guess if you're into that, but Bumble too. I think my sister met her husband on Bumble, or maybe maybe it was Tinder actually, but it was like years ago. Guys, so I'm like, oh my god,
maybe these dating apps are going to be it for me.
It could
be. I'm going to find the one.
It really could be. You
I'm hearing
mentioned
some success stories, but I also hear some murder stories. So I'm like, I don't know.
yeah,
this is gonna go for me.
Be very careful, but
Yeah,
at the very least, you'll get some good stories.
exactly. We're all here for everything I do is for the plot right now.
So you just mentioned Abby Lee Miller. Was she at the reunion?
She was not at the reunion.
Okay.
No.
But you were just on her podcast not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that? And what are some like misconceptions about her? Because obviously, like, y'all don't have a horrible relationship where you're like going on her podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't talk to her for a really, really long time. I can't even tell you how long. But she DM'd me on Instagram and was
She
like,
slid in.
she slid into the DMs.
Is it
The
her?
only DMs I'm getting slid into are Abby Miller's. So,
Wait, is it actually her? Or does she have a social media manager? Because sometimes I never know.
I think it's in LA for BeautyCon. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Also because for me, I know that I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for her.
Mhm.
I was never supposed to be on Dance Moms. Producers didn't want me on Dance Moms. Nobody wanted me on Dance Moms. The only person that did was Abby.
Why did they not want you on?
She'd be like, no, that's stupid. I don't want to talk about that. Where other people obviously are like, oh my God, anything to be on TV, I'll talk about it.
Mhm.
Right? So she just wasn't very good at being on TV. She learned her way, and then we were good producers and stuff. Love our producer now. We're great friends. But nobody wanted me on the show. And Abby just loved me and gave me this platform. So going on the podcast, I was so nervous. My two friends came with me. And I was like shaking, having a panic attack. So I was like, I just haven't seen her in so long.
Mhm.
So I don't know what it's going to be like or what we're going to talk about. But as soon as we sat down, I mean, it was just like our relationship has changed so much now. You know, like I'm an adult. So when we're sitting and having a conversation, it's a tad bit more like equals versus, you know, I'm a child and she's my dance teacher.
Right. Like
Obviously,
that power dynamic for sure.
Yeah, I still obviously treat her with respect. She'll always be my dance teacher and an elder, but it's just like a different kind of relationship. So I think it was really good to talk to her, and I would be like, look, I don't agree with what you did.
Mhm.
I don't like how you treated some of my friends in certain scenarios, how you treated me in certain scenarios, how you treated my mom in certain scenarios. But I will always pay my respects to you. I will always be here, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think it was also good before the reunion to have like a good relationship, because a lot of the clips that were shown, you know, were kind of crazy clips. So it's good to see her.
Well, so when I said that you were going to be on the podcast, first of all, people were like, holy shit, like how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I actually don't know. But they were also, a lot of people were curious about your relationship with her and if she really was like as crazy in person or if a lot of it was for TV, because obviously we know that like reality TV is enhanced. It's very dramatic.
Sure.
But also not to like downplay the way that she treated y'all in any way.
Reality TV then is so different than now. First of all, I do have to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
People now go on reality TV knowing they're going to get social media famous and do things for the clout. And,
yeah, that's so true. I bet like your moms and like y'all at that age probably didn't even know.
Social media was barely a thing when I started the show. So it wasn't really like that. We were truly ourselves and we were just real. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you have producers pushing your buttons and trying to get in there to cause things. For the most part, like a lot of it's pretty real. When you're in that setting, you fight about a lot of things that you would never care about in real life. But your
that's
buttons
a good way
are
to
pushed.
put it.
Yeah, your buttons are pushed. There's so many things, there's so many different factors going on. So I don't know. I was 11, 12, 13, you know? So it's like the things that Abby was saying to me was real in my eyes. At the age of 12, whatever she was telling me was real life. I wasn't thinking about filming a TV show. It was real. So I think that that's why a lot of the girls talk about the trauma of being on the show is because in our eyes, the things that were happening were real. Whether we knew if they weren't or they were, They were to us, but she wasn't always mean. I think, like I said, also, we filmed 60 hours. You only saw 45 minutes. Obviously, the craziest parts, the meanest parts, the ones that are going to make the best TV is what's getting aired.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I did want to talk about your brand that you just started because that is something that you shared when you were on her podcast and on Sophia with an F. And, you know, obviously like you're starting a whole new project. So I wanted you to talk about Kare by Kalani.
Yeah. So I just recently, I think it's 7 months ago around there, it launched. So it's a baby. Kare by Kalani, and it is my self-care brand. I wanted to make a brand to help others. That's been my major thing. Even just watching back, we just on the reunion, it showed me exactly why I started the brand. When I was on the show, I was very emotionless and I held everything in to the point after the show, like when I lived in LA and all these things, I was having this immense amount of anxiety and was just going through depression because I was so anxious and all these, other things just because of I wouldn't feel my emotions or I would too busy to not feel my emotions. So I would just constantly push myself to be busy, 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 and that I would never take time to have self-care. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I wanted to start the brand, is that it's important for everybody, no matter what you're doing, what job you're doing, whether you're an athlete, you're a dancer, you work a 9 to 5, you have to take time to yourself and focus on your self-care. And so that was the whole point of starting Kare.
Love that. Yeah. I love that. I feel like, especially
we're gonna have to get you some now.
Yes.
We'll send some over.
Yes. Sure. What's your favorite product that you have?
The one I use the most is my TheraWrap headband. So It's this cute headband, and you can put these heating pad inserts in or like cooling inserts in. So it's great for headaches.
Girl, use that for your hangovers.
Hangover.
There you go.
That's what I use for hangovers. I put the cooling pads in, and I have an eye mask that does that too. So I use the eye mask like that also. But that one's my favorite just because I use it for my makeup every day.
Okay.
I put the headband on, or if I'm washing my face, I'll put the inserts in, wash my face, do my makeup, put the headband on. So that's probably just my most used.
I started like Fun on Weekdays a couple years ago, and I've hosted events and I've done things, and people just love when I talk about the business behind just everything that goes into starting a brand. So I'm really curious. So you launched 7 months ago. How did you go about finding let's just start at the basics. How much money did you put into starting it, if any?
Personally, I'm working with another company too.
Okay.
So we have a partnership, but I did have to put down my own money, for lawyers, trademarks, PR, so many other things that are kind of like back end. Up front, I can't even give you an exact number. I'm not too sure. Good amount.
yeah. It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
You have to pay for like packaging, and you have to pay for the product and inventory, and you have to have enough inventory that like you can actually sell it. That was an issue that I had recently. We didn't have enough inventory, and then it's on back order. It's like no one wants to wait 8 weeks.
It's definitely hard. And I was working on my brand an entire year before I even launched. And it can get so frustrating, which I'm sure that you understand. It's like I was getting samples, looking at samples, and then I was like, I don't like that. Send it back.
Yes.
Another 6 weeks, comes back. That color's not exactly the way I want it. Send it back. And then it's like you keep having to do all these trials. And especially with mine, since some products are what's called rechargeable and things like that, you have to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot more into it back end than people think. And I was super hands-on in the creative process, more or less. That's what I love. I'm not a huge number girl.
Same.
I got a lot of people to help me out with that because I'm not very good at that stuff. But when it came to the creative, I was so involved in making products that I really wanted and made sure that they were great for everybody. I think you're in this space too. A lot of people just create brands and products to make a quick buck.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell when it's not genuine, and you can tell when it's not something that might have longevity, and like maybe they don't care if it does, right?
Yeah.
With Kare, I really wanted to create a brand that had longevity, and I can maybe one day sell it and it's not even mine anymore. It could just be Kare,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I also wanted to go into so many different ventures. So I made sure that Kare could go anywhere, because I believe that self-care can be anything. A form of self-care for me is dance.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to bring fitness into it. I want to bring makeup into it. I want to bring skincare into it. I want to be able to have this big umbrella of care. Self-care can be anything. And it's like I'm working on things for a year and a half from now to
Yeah.
launch, you know? And people don't realize that it's not something that's like quick.
Yeah.
Things come in time.
Unfortunately, because especially in like today's world, everybody wants things like so immediate. And
Yeah.
it can be difficult to explain the process behind why things take so long, or if there's a delay, or if there's a mistake that was made. So is this a process that you've been sharing along the way, or you've been kind of keeping it a secret until you initially were ready to launch it?
I think that I would sneak peek it a lot.
Okay.
But it is so, I think I messed up a couple things.
Yeah.
Just
What
on
were
like,
some of like what were some of the mistakes that you made along the way?
yeah, I think I was sneak peeking a little too early,
Okay.
just because I thought that it was going to be ready in 2 months. And then it was
Yes.
another 2 more months. And then it was another 2 more months. And so I think I could have done a little bit better on the marketing side, as in like building hype.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that was kind of my fault in that standpoint. I got a little too excited with it. And also, I was just like posting some products in different colors that didn't end up launching in that color and launched in like a different color. So I think that some of those things I could have done differently, but you live and you learn, right? Those are some things that I did wrong.
And
the beginning.
also they're not even like very important mistakes either. Like
Yeah.
those are also really good learning lessons too.
For sure.
Because obviously this is a brand new venture for you. So the people that you are working with then, the company that you are partnering with to bring everything to fruition, are they handling like sourcing, manufacturing, shipping, and all of that? And you kind of go to them and you say, this is what I want to do. This is the idea. Okay, so what is your like
Which they saved my life for that.
Yeah.
For sure. Makes it so much easier on me. I recently just did this actually. I make a list of certain products that I want to have a part of my brand and things that I'm interested in. And then I can also make a mood board of the colors that I like, or the colors that I think are trending. And then they also look and see what's going to be trending, you know, because in a year from now, people can forecast what is going to be the trending colors or whatever it might be. So we kind of go like that at first. And then they go into the manufacturing and creating everything. And then I get sent samples, and you just kind of go through the sample process until you get to the product that you like and you want to sell. And then you just kind of figure out, obviously based off my following and whatnot, you decide how many we can buy and what we think is best, marketing and stuff like social media, running the page and everything like that.
Obviously you have 8 million followers. And I think most people would probably think, okay, she can easily do X in sales. How has it been actually since launching it, with like your expected sales versus like what really happened? Did y'all like exceed your expectations, or where are y'all at with that? Because obviously like the first time you launch something, you know how much you can sell of a certain makeup product that you've sold before, or, you know, a shirt that you've linked before, but coming up with your own brand new item, it can be really hard to forecast. So how has it been in the past 7 months?
It's definitely been a learning experience. I've never really had a brand before of my own. And you think you know your audience in a sense, but my fan base is still all over the place, right? I have 6-year-old fans and I have 60-year-old fans. So it's like you never really know what's going to work. And I think with the launch, some products just do better than others. And that's just like an inevitable thing. But I think that first launch has helped us be able to figure out for our next launch what is the right direction to go into.
Yeah.
You know, go more this way. Only like some products obviously do better than others, but it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start a brand, you never know what's going to happen, right? Like I would have been happy if 5 people bought it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it exceeded my expectations, but I think moving forward, I know better of what kind of a products to make that are going to sell more.
Yeah, it's interesting because you would just assume that whatever you enjoy the most is what other people are going to, but it's not always the case. So you said that your favorite product is the headband.
Yeah.
Is it, wait, headband? Is that the right word?
Therapy headband.
Therapy headband. There we go.
Yeah.
Like I missed one part of that. Is that your best-selling product, or what has been your customer's favorite?
I would say that heatless hair curlers, eye mask.
Okay. So kind of like the
I'll have
beauty.
to go and look for sure, but
yeah. Okay.
I feel like the headband does the best. Just because I mentioned it most.
I was going to say,
I use it the most.
Yeah. So do you see that there is a direct response? Like if you post a link to a headband, or if you post the link to your eye patches or something, do you see an immediate uptick in sales?
For sure.
Okay. That's cool.
And I feel like that's sometimes what gets hard with my brand right now is because I have so many different products.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make sure that I post every single one versus just one continuously. I also feel, which is weird because I don't post about my bag the most, but my bags, or there's only one bag right now, but my one bag sold a lot too. And I haven't even posted that one.
Yeah, you're like, how are you seeing that? Wait a second. Are you actually shopping?
It's like you truly never know though. Mm-hmm. Just because it's something that you love, it could be completely different. I compare it to my dance more than anything, right? Everybody's taste is different. You're most passionate in what you love about what you love because it'll feel ingenuine any other way.
Totally.
But you have to have a little bit in your mind of what's going to sell and what's not going to sell after you kind of learn.
Totally. And so this is kind of like my last question. I love the analogy that you made about like your favorite dance. I feel like people will really understand that. Wait, by the way, what is your favorite dance and your least favorite?
My least favorite is we did this at the time and I was a pig and we were like getting slaughtered like on stage. Like that was like supposed to be like the thing, like killing animals. It was crazy. I was just like, what? Like, who does that?
Yeah, the creative direction is crazy.
The creative direction went wild. There's been a couple where I'm like,
it's crazy.
Maybe should not been aired.
Yeah, it's also crazy what people got away with like 10 years ago on reality TV versus now. Because I don't know if you've ever watched America's Next Top Model recently, but like it is
it's bad.
Insane how they ever let that like go live. It's crazy.
No, seriously. There's a couple things on Dance Moms where we're like, that maybe wasn't good.
Yeah.
My favorite dance is Suicide Hotline. I was the star. No, I hate to say it like that, but I was the lead in the dance. And personally struggling just with mental health, I think that dance, I get really into it on the reunion. But it's a dance that I think means a lot to me more now than I even realized at the time. But I loved our meaningful dances that meant something and told a story. And, you know, I hope that even now with it still being, you know, people still watching the show, that it can help others. And so those dances were always my favorite that were like meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, thanks for sharing that. I love that. I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand with your brand. And it's very obvious to tell that you are very like genuine. You care a lot about like having compassion for other people. And I'm sure it's also really cool to see how much you personally have grown over the past like 10 years. And now you're starting these new ventures and there's just so much opportunity in the air. So thank you so much for sharing everything with us today.
Thank you for having me. You're amazing.
Yeah, I'm so serious. You moved to Dallas. We're going to hang out.
I'm like, don't tell my mom. I think she would die.
She can come too.
Yeah.
Just for a little girls weekend. Well, thank you for joining me, Kalani. This was amazing. And I really had so much fun talking to you. So I will include all of your information in the episode description. Not that people don't already know where to find you, but we'll link to Kare. We'll include it in our newsletter and everything. So thank you again.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. You're the best.
Of course. Oh, you're the best. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.